Hi and welcome to the video. I'm Dame and this is Dame Over, and today sees us in part 2 of the Troll Weapons series, where I take a look at those weapons that are the most annoying to get killed by and talk you through why that is. Yesterday saw us looking at the Assault class and the infamous Hellregal Factory, but today is the turn of the Scout class, and I think there was only one really logical choice for it, and that's the Martini-Henry Infantry. So if you find this video useful or entertaining, make sure you hit that like button before you go, and if you want to keep up to date with the rest of the series and any future videos, then make sure you've hit that subscribe button too. So at this point in the game's life cycle, I'm sure we've all been killed by the Martini-Henry an annoying amount of times, getting one-bombed from ranges that just seem completely unfair. It was for a really long time by far the most popular sniper rifle in the game, and is still actually maintaining high popularity amongst the player base, but since April is in the number 2 spot, second to the SMLE Marksman. And statistically it's pretty clear to see why. It's got the highest damage in the Scout class with a maximum potential damage of 112. That's right, 112% of damage, 12% more than should actually be possible. It's very unlike any of the other sniper rifles, as it's only got one round available before you have to reload, but with a quick reload time, it doesn't seem like that is much of a handicap. As it's a single shot rifle, it doesn't particularly matter about the rest of the statistics. It's basically as good as your aim is, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on. One of the reasons that the Martini-Henry has been and is still extremely popular amongst Scout class users is the one-shot sweet spot, which starts at just 30 meters and extends all the way up to 80. This used to be the shortest one-shot sweet spot in the game, but with the addition of other Scout rifles through various DLCs, it's now got far more competitive in that particular area. The Type 38 Arasaka, for example, starts its one-shot sweet spot at exactly the same point as the Martini-Henry and can fire much faster, with more than double the fire rate at 57 rounds per minute compared to the Martini-Henry's 25. And with the additions of the Carcano and the Ross Mark III Infantry in particular, the Martini-Henry has started to dip ever so slightly in popularity, and especially in the case of the Ross, it's going to have some real competition right up until Battlefield 5 releases and everyone forgets that there was a World War I in the Battlefield franchise. The point being that the one-shot sweet spot starting so close makes it a lot easier to aim at your targets and gives you a far better chance of landing your shots compared to other sniper rifles, as you're not having to compensate for bullet drop or lead your targets by very much, even if they are on the move, making it a very simple task to pick up kills from those mid-ranges. It's as easy as point and shoot, which brings us nicely onto how easy it is to use the Martini-Henry, which is the main reason why it's so obnoxious to get killed by. Now what I'm going to say involves auto-aim and auto-rotation, which is always a massive point of contention amongst the Battlefield community, and especially for those players that decide they don't want to play with it on console. And for the record, I agree with and I support your decision. If it makes you happy to play that way, then do it. But always remember that it is an unnecessary disadvantage against those players that just leave the settings alone. But in fairness, it does add an extra element of challenge and requires a lot more skill to be successful. This obviously only applies to console players. On PC it's very different, and I've not actually played Battlefield 1 on PC, so I can't say from personal experience what it's like. But anyway, if we go back to the 13th of December last year, there was a huge change to the amount of auto-aim that was in Battlefield 1, a mechanic that was very strong, in particular the auto-rotation aspect of it. This is the mechanic that pulls you to the target if you're aiming close enough to them. And before the big nerf to aim assist as a whole, the Martini-Henry was definitely easy mode when it came to Scout rifles. From almost any distance, all you had to do was sort of wiggle the sticks in front of your target until it snapped to them, and then quickly pop the aim and shoot buttons in quick succession to hit the target. It is true, since the nerf happened, it's far harder to do the same thing with any of the infantry Scout rifles, which did reduce the use of the Martini-Henry pretty significantly, hence the SMLE Marksman taking the top spot for popularity, but there is still some aim assist in the game, which definitely helps take advantage of the Martini-Henry's overpowered damage model. I mean, seriously, 112%, and finding center mass on a target is still pretty easy, even from mid-range and beyond, as you might be able to see in some of these clips. Combining that with the instant kill nature of an infantry Scout rifle within the one-shot sweet spot, it makes the Martini-Henry in particular incredibly frustrating to be taken out by. It feels like with the Martini that old habits die hard. A lot of players tend to stick to stuff that they've had a good experience with, and back in the day it would be quite easy to end around with 40 plus kills using the Martini. Now, however, Battlefield 1 has changed quite a lot, and there are definitely better options if you want to stick to using an aggressive playstyle with the Scout class, which infuriates me no end when I get killed by the Martini, as it's not even the best choice. But that's just what I think. What do you guys think about the Martini-Henry Infantry? Is it your troll weapon of choice in the Scout class? Have you got any other troll weapons that you want to see me feature in future videos? Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And a quick thank you to those of you guys that are helping to support the channel through Patreon. It's because of you guys that I'm able to put content out as often as I do, and hopefully in the future with a bit more support, I'll be able to move on to doing this full time. So if you want to become a patron yourself, I've left a link in the description. I'll put one in the pinned comment as well. And there's also a handy button on the end screen that will take you straight to the Patreon page, where if you'd like to, you can help support the channel from as little as $1 a month. So if you had a good time, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button too. Make sure you've turned on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Feel free to share this with whoever and wherever you like. And until next time, that's Dame over. Peace.
Thank you.